What's up guys, my name is Your Heroes and welcome back to more Call to Arms. And today I know I usually would do a World of Tanks video on a Friday, but to be honest, really the World of Tanks videos are dead on my channel and they're not that good anyway, so I'm kind of going to drop the World of Tanks series and kind of maybe do a Call to Arms on a Friday instead, because I know many of you do love it. So today we are going to be doing a Call to Arms tutorial today. Now the tutorial I'm going to be covering today is the Conquest mode. Now because the Conquest has been or is going to be updated very soon, I thought I'd give, I did look on the channel to see if I did do a Conquest tutorial and I haven't done one yet, although it feels like I remember I've done one, but I can't remember for sure. So today I'm going to be discussing discussing what you need to know before you go into the battle of Conquest mode, and also how to basically use it, how to use a tech tree, you know, what units are best for bringing out first and what units are best to put in the groups, because you can bring out different groups, let's say, so you bring out group 1 and then you have to save up manpower for group 2. So I'm going to be telling you which troops are best for different stages. So if you do want to see more of this tutorials or more of these tutorials, then make sure you leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and if you do subscribe you will get a shout out at the end of the video, which I do need to do today. So I'm going to be just for today's, for example, I'm just going to be you as the USA. Now this is the starting menu. When you click on create new conquest, you're going to be given a bunch of options, so you can name whatever you can name whatever conquest you want to name it. So in this case I'll just name it experiment just for now, so that because it just, or a tutorial video even, this is what it is. But of course you can change it to anything else you want, and then you can change to the different factions, so you can either be USA, the GRM, the Rebels, the UAF, or if you have like the deluxe edition or the supreme edition, whatever it is, then you can also be Germany or Russia. But of course these nations are in beta, so bear in mind that not everything is still perfect about these factions. Now of course I do have a mod on where I have the Rise of Nations mod, so where I can choose a Spain, Japan, Canada, Denmark, and a few others as well, or Sweden. So the Rise of Nations mod does actually work with Conquest mode, but some nations don't actually work properly, so just be careful with that. But I would recommend with maybe going with if you have the deluxe editions, I would personally, my best pick for this is I would maybe go as Germany or Russia or USA, because the Rebels and the UAF are a wee bit, you know, are hard to play. But if you are quite expert at this game and you know what you're doing, then please go ahead and try the Rebels and UAF, because it is quite a challenge. Anyway, once you've picked your name, your faction, next you're going to be asked to pick what difficulty you want it on. Do you want it easy, normal, hard, or heroic? Now personally, I'm not very good at this game, or I try to be good at this game, so I'd maybe put it on normal, sometimes hard. And then once you've done all three of them, you pick the duration. Now the duration is how long you want each battle to last. So there you go, it defines it. So what does it say? It says defines the amount of gain and loss of conquest progress through battles. The impact of losses is also affected by the difficulty settings. Yeah, so you can either put it in short, normal, long, very long, or ultimate. I think that says or unlimited. Personally, if you want a realistic version of it, I would maybe stick it on normal. And of course resources defines the amount of start resources you gain after a tough a fought battle. So you can either put it on low resources, medium resources, or high resources. And then you could pick fog of war, which basically means that you won't be able to see your enemy, and when you only see them when your troops see them, so kind of like a realistic aspect to them. And of course hardcore realism is damage is highly increased, and fog of war is hides undetected enemy units or revealed all to the players. Units will still need to to detect units by themselves to react. Okay, so there you go. And of course you can either put it in an advanced control mode, classic direct mode, or no direct control. So what that is that whether you want to use the advanced direct controls where you get to zoom in and use first person, the classic control is where I think is the Men of Warsaw Squad 2 direct control, so you only get to go into third person, or no direct control is where again you just don't get to control them at all, I presume. And then no restriction, I don't really know what restriction means, still kind of learning what that means, but I always just stick it to no restrictions, because if you put a restriction on, I presume that means that something bad is probably going to happen, or you can't use as much stuff as you can. So I would just put it in stick as no restrictions. So once you have your army ready, and once you're got everything selected here, press OK, and that will take you into this screen right here. So as you see, there's actually quite a lot going on your screen right now. You've got the veterans reserves here, you got the recruitment units over here, you've got your reinforcements, you've got your support, you've got your emplacements, and of course this bar along the top here, and then you've got your research tree over here. So I will be going through this one by one and as quickly as possible. So let's start off with the obvious by the top here. So you can see that it says day or 1 day of conflict. So this just means the day that you're starting off with in the army strength. So what this blue line or this red line means is that each battle you win, this blue progression bar will go up. So each time you win a battle, it will go up, you will win. So the red mark, or the red line is the enemy's progression, and the blue line is your progression. So every time you win a battle, your progression will go up. If you lose a battle, your progression will go down. And your main goal of this conquest mode is to make sure you get that blue line all the way to the end, kind of where my face is, all the way to the end, and that means that you have won the conquest and there's no more other wars or battles you have to fight. So that is really the main goal of this conquest. Make sure you get that blue line all the way up to the top, or if you lose all your battles, then this red line will keep going back to where your position is, and that means you'll lose the conquest. Okay, moving on to the reinforcement section. Now this section is quite a lot, so I will go over it quite slowly and try and give you as much information as possible. So over here, this here is your starting. Everything that you see is unlocked with a kind of like a lock. So everything you see here, like the Aufklär and basically everything you see that is unlocked is things that you can use in your first battle. So as you can see, I get to play around with this kind of wee silver, this wee gold thing over here. That's how much, I think it's manpower you have, I believe. So let's say you want to use the first one, which is the Aufklär. So it costs 120 manpower, and as you can see here that it covers 13 units, or 13 capacity. Now if you look over to your right here, it's important. So let's say I want to use him as in my first battle. So what you do is you hold left click and drag him to the veterans area, and that means you've got him in reserves. So that means you can keep him for later battle or just use him just now. Now the reason you have to be careful is because as you can see that I've just spent 120 points, so now it went from 1500 to 1380 manpower. So you have to really be careful on what you have to pick for your first battle. So let's say you want to use, you've got your first troop in the veterans area, the recruitment area. Let's say you want to actually use him in the battle. So what you do is that you hold and left click and drag him into the combat area over here, and that means now you have your first troop battle, or your first group in this combat area. Now as you can see that this group has 13 capacity. Now in one group, in this first kind of group here, you can take up to 50 people, I presume, or 50 capacity, whatever it is. So let's say I want to add another one. Let's say I want to add the same group and I want to double it. So I don't even need to put it into veterans. I can just drag all the way over to this area over here, and as you can see that my points have gone down again, and now it's gone up to 25 manpower or 25 capacity. So that means you do have to really be careful what you pick out in your first group, let's say. So let's say you want to bring out something else. Let's say you want to bring out an AT team, because there probably could be some technicals that you're going up against in the first round. So these guys cost a wee bit more. So these guys cost 150 points, but the good thing is that they don't have as much capacity. So these are only 8, they only have 8 men or 8 capacity. So you can actually, what I completely forgot is that if you want to see what your troops are like, you can just click on them, left click on them, and then you can see down in this picture over here what they look like. And what you can actually do is that you can hover over which part over the soldier you want. So let's say you want to click the gun. Let's say you want to you can move around with it by holding left click and kind of moving your mouse a bit, but let's say you want to get details of the gun that the soldiers have. So you can see that it was highlighted in white. You left click on the gun, and that means on the right side, just beside the picture, it tells you all the information you need about the G36A3. So it tells you the caliber, the rate of fire, the muzzle speed, the health damage, the DPS, which is damage per second I think it is, magazine size, reload time, maximum range, and the weight of it. So as you can see, and then you can click different parts of the units as well. You can click actually on the German, you can click on the German soldier over here, let's say, if I can, and it'll tell you everything about the stats about the German soldier. So you can either tell you the hit points, the base words, I can't speed, the speed of them, the weapon they use, the secondary weapon they use, and it tells you a whole bunch of other information that you get to see over here. So that's something that you can do before you go into battle, something will be useful tip that you can do here. So let's say you have going back to the point, let's say you want to get an AT team. What you do is you drag this AT team and you put them over here. So now I'm up to 33 points of it. So let's say I'm quite happy with my first group of infantry. I have three groups of infantry, and one of them is an AT, or 2 groups of infantry and one of them is an AT team. So I'm quite happy with that, and if you want you can add more because you still have more points to play with. So let's say I maybe want to get a dingo truck. Now remember, this thing has 250, so it does cost a lot more because it is a truck, and because it is a truck and it carries troops as well, it's going to cost more capacity, or whatever that thing is over here. So let's say you want the dingo or the truck dingo, you bring it over here, and there you go, you're up to 48 points. Now something that you can't do is that you can't now bring anything else out because it's literally at the max points. So let's say you want an engine, you could actually bring out an engineer crew team because it only costs 2, so that brings it up to 50, but you can't bring out a fire team because what I'll do, it'll shake a wee red thing up there and that'll tell you that you can't put any more people in here because it is that full. Now moving on, now as you can see that there is some locked stuff. If you look at the top right here just above the troops, you can see that in the first battle you have access to 2 groups. You have the first group and you can do the second group. Now the second group you can add more capacity to the men. So the first group you could only carry 50 capacity to this group, but now in the second group you can carry up to 75, so you can put a lot more in that group. So let's say you have, now I have 860 points. Now you won't be able to fill it up all the way up to 75 points on the first, even before you start the battle, because you just don't have enough manpower to do it. So let's say you want to maybe just get some secondary teams over here, or some kind of backups. So let's say you get a fire team, you get a support team, and you can see that my points are going down. Let's say I want to get another AT team as well, and let's say I want to get another dingo as well. So there you go, I'm up to 38 points, and you can see that I don't actually have much left to play with. as you can see. So let's maybe get another fire team as well, or I could maybe get an MG group. I could possibly get an MG troop, sorry, which is or a shouts, and which is the next kind of stage in the group. So there you go, I'm up to 50 points, and I could add more because I have more capacity to play with. But you have no more points left. But let's say you want to put some stuff in reserves for the next battle. So let's say you don't want to put all of these guys into the one first battle. So let's say you want to keep some men aside. So what you do is you just hold, let's say you've put them in, but you decide that you don't want to put this group of troops in the second group over here. You don't want to use them in the first battle. What you do is you move them into the veterans area over here, and that will keep this troops of grid for the next battle. So after the battle's done, and let's say you lose some troops, what you'll be able to do, you'll be able to move these guys back into here for the next battle you choose. So once you put them in here, that means you can keep them safe for the next battle if you don't want to use them in the first round. And let's say you want to do that for more, so you may want to add another support team, but you don't have enough points or you don't have enough capacity. What you can do is you can move, let's say you want a support team, or you want a support team, you can put them in there, and that means it'll save it for the next battle that you want to put. I'll put it in here, keep it nice and safe for the next battle that you want to do. Now you can see that all these are kind of in a faded color, which means that this tells you what troops and what vehicles you are currently using in your first group and second group. So it tells you what you're using in the first battle, and let's say you don't want to use the dingo, you can put it back here, and there you go, it'll be there safely for you for the next battle. But in this case, I'm just going to keep it there. Okay, now I've got mostly everything ready. There's a few other things we need to do. Let's say, so you've got your reinforcement stage, but let's say you want to add maybe an airstrike. Now unfortunately, you won't be able to get to the airstrike until later on the game. Number one, because you need to unlock it in the tech tree, which I'll cover in a minute, and number two, because you will need, as you can see, when you click on it, you need 5 of these purple diamonds things, and these purple diamonds things are special little resources which you can collect through battles, but they're very rare, so you do have to be it is very rare to collect, which is why it's only 5 and there's only 1 of them. Of course, as the Conquest updates go through, there will be more vehicles added to them, but currently there's only a bomb airstrike. So this costs 5 special resources or special diamonds. I forgot the name of them, but basically once you unlock this vehicle, and once you unlock the aircraft, and once you do that, you can, and you have enough points or resources for it, you can just drag it along here, and that means you'll be able to use the airstrike. Now let's say you don't want any troops and you want to actually use a mounted MG3. So of course, as you can see in the picture here, it comes built as a mounted MG. Let's say you're defending an area, you'll definitely want to maybe use a mounted MG3, or let's say a mistletoe, let's say against vehicles, or even a mortar against largely grouped enemies. And it comes with all these except from the mistletoe or the Milaner. The KR40, the KRH40 and the mounted MG3 come up with sandbags, which is very nice. But as you can see, there's a wee engineer, a wee wrench sign, which means that you are going to need an engineer. To build these. So, and these cost as you can see that the MG costs 200 points, the mistletoe costs 300 manpower, and the mortar cost 400 manpower, or the MG3 costs 200. Now of course you can see that you can't get it because it is all locked. So what you're going to have to do is you are going to have to go into the research tree. So click that. So you can see just underneath the emplacements here, just click research tree, and here you go. You have a lot. You can see that if you scroll down, you can play with a lot right now. So let me go through it section by section. So in this kind of top half section here, really kind of all the way up to really up to here, this is the infantry section. So as you see, you get to start off with 4 research points. These wee kind of lab tubes are research points. Now these research points you can use to unlock troops, unlock tanks, unlock aircraft, unlock artillery. And let's say I want to get better troops, I want to get Panzer Grenadiers. I just left click on the Panzer Grenadier, and there you go, I've used 2 out of 4 research points. Let's say I want to scroll down a wee bit. So all this is a research area, and of course you can see to unlock the KSK right now, because I can't unlock it, I'm gonna have to go through the Fallschirmjägers. You can see like a wee grey line there, so I'm gonna have to give the Fallschirmjägers next, and once I unlock the Fallschirmjägers, or I don't know how you pronounce it, then I'll unlock the KSK, and of course you still need to pay the 4 research points. So of course, and to get the Fallschirmjägers, the troop ones, I'm gonna have to unlock this one beside it. Now of course, let's say I want to unlock I'm trying to give you a good example. Okay, so let's say I want to unlock the Boxer, or the Dingo, the second Dingo, and but remember, so I have 2 more points to play with. So in this below section here, sorry, I forgot, I was kind of doing this section by section. So all of this is the infantry area. You can unlock AT, you can unlock engineers and all that, which in the engineer section comes along with the mounted MG3 and the equipment and all that. Moving on to kind of the tank section. So in this section here, this covers the tanks, artilleries, armored vehicles, whatever it is. So let's say I want to unlock the next Dingo, because currently I have kind of the first Dingo. So let's say, or I could even get the Weasel, the first Weasel 1A1, but unfortunately that doesn't lead to anywhere. But if you want to get that, you can. So let's say I want to try and maybe get the Boxer next, or the next Dingo. I will click on this AFT Dingo, and there you go, I've used up all my research points. But as you can see, that now that I've bought this, it's now unlocked it's unlocked the Boxer and the next Dingo. So as long as you unlock you can only unlock these kind of 2 vehicles, or the next vehicles, only if you research the vehicle before the troop before it, if that makes sense. I've kind of given you a perfect example. So let's say I don't want that. If you don't, by the way, if you don't want to you don't actually buy them yet, as you can see, because the only way you can actually buy it is that I've clicked it, but I actually haven't bought it yet. So let's say I want to buy the Panzer Grenadiers, and I want to get the next Dingo. So there you go, I've used 4 research points, and then what you do, you click research selected, and that will be able to unlock the Dingo and the Panzer Grenadiers. But let's say you don't want these troops at all, and you don't want to select it, and you want something else. You can press unselect all, or what you can do, you can manually just select, left click on these guys, and then you can just unselect them, and then you can choose like another vehicle like the Weasel, or you can choose the Zetros ammo or something else. But in this case, for my sake, or let's say you want a scout team, but in this case I will want to go for the Panzer Grenadiers, which will unlock me the next groups over here, and I also want the next Dingo. And what that means, I'll now tell you that you have used up all your research points, and then you select research selected, and there you go, you have now bought the Dingo and the Panzer Grenadier, or whatever you buy. So once you've done that, exit out, and as you'll see, once you go back to your reinforcements, and now you have in your reinforcements area, you now have the Panzer Grenadiers, and you now have the next Dingo mounted one, as you can see. So every time you research something, it will always show up in this reinforcements area, or the emplacements area unlock. It will always show you that you can unlock it by getting rid of this blue blueprint. Okay, so once you have kind of all your troops and everything, and you're happy with everything here, then what you can do is you press save down here, the bottom left. So that means it saves everything. And then what you're going to do is, so you are now going to select a mission. Now you can either actually do this in single player or cooperative. A lot of people do ask me, how do you do multiplayer in cooperative? Now what you want to do is, now if you're playing with friends, you're going to have to change this from single player. Just left click it, press cooperative, and then press select mission, and then what it'll do is it'll take you into a lobby where you can invite people, you can invite your friends to it. And unfortunately, because I don't have any friends, I'm a loner, I will just do single player. I know I'm sad, I don't have any friends, but in this case, you still do have to select the mission first before it'll come up with the lobbies. But in this case, I will do single player for this matter, and it shows you it'll show you the place that you're taking battle if you choose that. So let's say once you've done all of the stuff that you want to do in this menu over here, you press select mission, down here you left click it, and now you have a bunch of options where you can go down. So you can see that you're starting off at the very start of it, and this is your group. So as each mission you complete, you get to go further along to the enemy base, but the further you go along, the harder it gets. So for my first option, I can either go and face the GRM, as you can see the wee faction over here. So once you kind of hover over this faction over here, it'll tell you what faction you're playing, and then you can see like a wee cactus over here. That tells you what battlefield you're playing in. So you're playing in a desert map, and it'll tell you what resources you are playing, or what resources you will get. So I will get one kind of that special resource, and I'll get one research point. And of course I'm playing, and I presume that just means the single player, and then this wee arrow means I'm playing in the dam map, which I presume, yeah, which is right, or the airfield map, what it is. So, but let's say you want to go a wee bit of more of a challenge. So that is only 1 star, so that's the easy level. But let's say you want to do a wee bit more challenging mission. You can hover over this one, and this will say it's got 2 stars. So this is something it didn't actually explain. So let's say you want to do an easy missions. They will tell you which one. I would highly recommend it if you're new, if you're completely new to Conquest, go with the 1 star missions, because those are the easiest. So you get 3 stars. So the first star is the easiest level, 2 stars is the medium level, and 3 stars is the hardest level you can do. So let's say if you're a newcomer and you're new to Conquest, play the easier levels, but if you're pretty, if you play Call to Arms for a long time, you know what you're doing, go for the medium to hard battles. And as you can see, we are playing the faction here, we're playing against the USSR, or Russia. I think this is kind of I don't know what this environment is. It basically tells you what environment you're playing in. And of course the points I'm going to receive is 50 manpower and 1,000 munitions. And of course we are playing for, and that's the wee kind of area. These 3 things tells you what map you're playing on, I think. So let's say I'm personally going to go for this one over here. So what you do is you just click it, or what you do, yeah, you just click it. As you can see, whatever line you want to play it on, the blue line will kind of follow. So let's say you want to go here, and you kind of want to go up here, or you want to go along here. So you can actually strategize this. So let's say you kind of want to go down the bottom line, or you want to go down the middle line, or bottom and middle line, you can go for the first one, because that will lead on, and if you manage to win this battle, you get to go into the next mission down here or up here. Now if you want to do the second mission, or this one up here, you can choose to go to the top and the middle. Now let's say you do actually complete this mission, it'll give you more options to play with, but it just means that you won't be able to do this mission over here, I think, just based off memory. So let's say I'm going to go for the USSR one, and once you have selected your mission, press confirm, and that will tell you that you have the mission selected, you're going on the dam map, and you are in single player, and you're ready to go. And once you have everything sorted and everything like that, you can press start. Now what I actually didn't tell you is what this thing is here. This is 2,000, so I've currently 2,000 munitions. So basically in here, in the veterans area, you have 500 capacity, so you can basically try and put everything in here and it still fits. So you have tons of room to put everything here in your reserves. I kind of forgot, I think that is munitions, I believe. So that means you'll get, as you kind of, I kind of forgot what this one is, I'm not gonna lie. I think is that when you play a battle, and when you complete the battle, that means you're going to lose munitions because you've used a lot of ammunition during the battle. So you'll get more once you saw that I've played on this mission to get more munitions, so that means I have more ammunition to play with in my next battles. So definitely something to be aware of there. So I think that really covers everything in Conquest 2.0. And of course Conquest 3.0, whatever it is coming out very soon. The update should be coming out, I think, in September at least, so very soon. So please do listen out for the channel, or please do look on the channel for that. But there we go guys, that is it for today's video. If you did like this, make sure you leave a like on this video, and also I do actually have a shout out to do wherever my phone is. Okay, so a big shout out to Edgar Torres. I think I'm hoping that pronouncing your name right. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you do enjoy the content over here, and loads more content to come on the channel. So there we go guys, that is it for today. If you do want to see more tutorials and more of this, then make sure you leave a like on the video. And also, is there anything that I got wrong in this Conquest 2.0 tutorial? And if there is, then please do let me know in the comments down below, because you guys as a community do always help me to if I get anything wrong, and that's what's amazing about you guys. So anyway, I just like to say thank you so much for watching and our support, and I will see you in the next video. See you later and goodbye.